The envelope arrived on a Tuesday, slick with rain from the Seattle postmark. Addressed in a handwriting Parker hadn't seen in 16 years, like a ghost scrawled in faded ink. She tore it open in the dim light of her apartment kitchen, heart slamming against her ribs, only to find a single Polaroid, her mother, alive, staring out from a dingy motel room, eyes hollow as the grave she'd supposedly filled. "I'm coming home, Parker." And this time, the truth dies with no one. Parker crumpled the photo, but it burned through her palm like acid. Eleanor Whitaker, the woman who'd vanished in a tragic car accident when Parker was 12, the pillar of their old-money Seattle family, the one whose death had sealed the Whitaker legacy in whispers and white lies. Now this. Parker's phone buzzed on the counter, Alex's name flashing like a lifeline, but she couldn't answer. Not yet. The city outside howled with wind, mirroring the storm ripping through her chest. And in that moment, Parker knew. The woman who'd taught her to love fiercely and hide deeper had clawed her way back from the dead to drag them all into hell. She didn't sleep that night. Instead, she paced the creaky hardwood floors of her Capitol Hill walk-up, the Polaroid mocking her from the windowsill where she pinned it under a coffee mug. Alex had crashed on the couch after a late shift at the clinic, her dark curls splayed like a halo. But even the sight of her, 30 years of quiet strength wrapped in flannel and freckles, couldn't anchor Parker. By dawn, the decision clawed its way out. She had to face it. Alone. The Whitaker family estate loomed on the east side of Lake Washington like a relic from a Gilded Age fever dream. Ivory columns framing manicured lawns. The kind of place where secrets fermented in crystal decanters. Parker's father, Harlan, had turned it into a fortress after Eleanor's death, marrying a string of socialites who faded like bad investments. Now it was just him and his latest regret. A trophy wife named Lydia who collected Birkins like regrets. Parker pulled her truck into the gravel drive at noon, the engine's rumble echoing her pulse. Harlan met her at the door, his silver hair impeccable, face carved from the same granite as the family vault. "Parker. Darling," he said, voice smooth as aged bourbon, pulling her into a hug that smelled of pipe tobacco and denial. "To what do I owe the pleasure? Lydia's planning a gala for the opera board." She shoved the Polaroid into his chest. "This." "Explain." His eyes, those cold Whitaker blues, flickered. Just once, before the mask snapped back. "What the hell is this? Some prank? Parker. This is one of your episodes. It's her. Dad. Mom. Alive." The word cracked like thunder in the foyer, marble floors swallowing the echo. Lydia hovered in the archway, pearls clutched like rosary beads. But Parker ignored her. "She sent it to me. Said she's coming home." Harlan's laugh was a dry rasp, but his knuckles whitened on the photo. "Impossible. Your mother died in that crash. We buried her. The whole city mourned. You buried a lie." Parker's voice rose, raw and ragged. "I was 12. Dad. I saw the coffin. But I also saw the fights, the way she'd stare at the lake like it was swallowing her whole. And then nothing. You said it was grief, but it was always something more. Wasn't it?" He turned away, striding toward the study, Parker trailing like a shadow. The room was a shrine to denial, oil portraits of stern ancestors, a desk piled with legal briefs from the family firm. Harlan poured 2 scotches, shoving one at her. "Sit. And listen. Because this family survived worse than your imagination." But Parker didn't sit. She leaned against the bookshelf, arms crossed, the tattoo on her forearm, a delicate outline of two intertwined vines, inked after her first kiss with Alex, itching under her sleeve. Tell me about the affair. The one that wasn't with some debutante, but with her. The artist from the gallery openings. I found the letters last year, buried in the attic. My wild one, you called her in your notes to Mom jealous. Like she was the threat. Harlan froze. Glass halfway to his lips. You went through Christ. Parker. That was ancient history. Your mother. She had her indiscretions. But the crash? It was real. Drunk driver. We protected the name because that's what Whitakers do. Scandals like that, her lifestyle would have tanked everything. The firm. The trust. Your future. Lifestyle. Parker spat the word. Stepping closer. You mean loving a woman? Is that what you faked her death to bury? Because she dared to be who she was. He set the glass down hard. Amber sloshing. It wasn't just that. Eleanor was unraveling. Debts from her art investments. Whispers in the press about unnatural attachments. She begged me to stage it. Said it was for you. For the family. A new start for her. Somewhere she'd never be judged. I loved her enough to let her go. Parker's laugh was bitter, echoing off the leather-bound tomes. Loved her? You erased her. And me? I grew up thinking I killed her, staying out late that night, fighting with her about boys I never wanted. Turns out, I was just like her. Hiding. Harlan's face crumpled. Just for a second. Before the patriarch straightened. You're not her. Parker. You're stronger. Marry that Dr. Fellow, settle down. Don't let this ghost drag you back. Alex isn't a fellow. The confession hung there. Deliberate. A gauntlet thrown. Parker's chest heaved. The air thick with 16 years of unspoken grief. And I'm done pretending. Lydia's gasp from the doorway was theatrical. But Harlan just stared. The scotch forgotten. Get out, he whispered finally. Before you ruin us all. She left the estate with the taste of betrayal on her tongue. Tires spitting gravel as she tore back toward the city. Alex was waiting at their favorite dive bar on Pike Street, nursing an IPA under the neon glow of a Miller sign. Pretty. With curves that turned heads and eyes that saw through bullshit. Alex had been Parker's anchor since that rainy Pride night 2 years back. A chance brush at a rally turning into stolen kisses in the shadows of the monorail tracks. You look like you wrestled a ghost, Alex said, sliding a whiskey across the scarred oak bar. Her voice was warm, laced with that faint Texas drawl she'd never shaken, even after a decade in the PNW. Parker downed it in one, the burn steadying her. Worse. Saw my dad. Mom's alive. Faked it all. Alex's hand found hers under the table, thumb tracing circles on her knuckles. Holy shit. Parker, don't. Just stay with me tonight. It was a plea, raw as the rain pattering the window. Alex nodded, pulling her close, and for a moment, the world narrowed to the scent of hops and her lover's skin, salt and sage. Home in human form. But the Polaroid haunted them through dinner at a hole-in-the-wall faux joint, where steam fogged the windows and the air hummed with Vietnamese chatter. Parker spilled it all, the letters, the lifestyle, the way Harlan's world had cracked open like cheap porcelain. Alex listened, her brown eyes steady. Fork paused over noodles. Sounds like she ran from shame, Alex said finally. Voice soft. But coming back? That's reckoning. You gonna meet her? Parker toyed with her chopsticks, the broth cooling. I have to. For me. But what if she's poison? What if she breaks what's left? Then we rebuild. Alex's smile was fierce. The kind that had pulled Parker from the edge of panic attacks and bad breakups. You're not your family, babe. You're Parker Whitaker, vet tech who saves mangy strays, hikes Rainier like it's a stroll, and loves like the world's ending. She doesn't get to rewrite that. They walked home hand in hand through the drizzle. Capitol Hill streets alive with buskers and bar hoppers. The Space Needle a distant needle prick against the clouds. In their apartment, Alex drew a bath scented with lavender, the steam curling like secrets. Parker sank into it, Alex behind her, hands gentle on her shoulders, massaging knots born of grief. Tell me about her, Alex murmured, lips brushing Parker's ear. Your mom. What was she like before? Parker closed her eyes. Water lapping. Wild. That's what Dad said. She'd sneak me out for midnight ice cream runs, teach me constellations from the roof. But there was this sadness, eyes always scanning horizons, like she was waiting for a storm. I think she saw herself in me. The hiding. Alex's fingers traced her collarbone, a touch both tender and electric. And now? You don't hide anymore. Not from me. Their kiss started slow, water sloshing as Parker turned, pulling Alex deeper. It built like a Pacific swell, hands exploring familiar curves, breaths mingling in the humid air. Alex's body was a map Parker knew by heart. The dip of her waist, the constellation of moles across her hip, the way she gasped Parker's name like a prayer. They moved to the bedroom, sheets tangling, bodies a tangle of need and solace. In the afterglow, Alex's head on her chest, Parker whispered, I love you. Whatever comes, love you more, Alex replied, voice sleepy. Hand splayed over Parker's heart. But dawn brought the knock, 3 sharp raps on the door, like fate with a warrant. Parker froze, Alex stirring beside her. Through the peephole, a woman in a threadbare coat, auburn hair streaked gray, face gaunt but unmistakable. Eleanor. Mom. Parker's voice cracked as she yanked the door open. Chain rattling. Eleanor's smile was a ghost, lips cracked, eyes rimmed red. Hello, darling. I've missed those green eyes. She stepped inside uninvited, dripping rain on the rug, carrying a duffel scarred by years. Alex appeared in the hallway, robe belted tight, stance protective. Parker? Who? My mother, Parker said, the word foreign on her tongue. The dead one. Eleanor's gaze flicked to Alex, praising, then softened. And you must be the one who's stolen her heart. Lucky girl. The air thickened. 3 women in a too small living room. History pressing like humidity. Parker gestured to the couch. Voice steel. Talk. Now. Eleanor sank down, unzipping the bag to pull out a flask, cheap whiskey. Not Whitaker Scotch. I never meant to leave you like that. But Harlan. He twisted it. Made it sound noble. Truth is, I ran because I was drowning. The affair with Lila. The painter, it wasn't just passion. It was me. Finally breathing. But the family? They'd crucify us. So we staged the crash. I slipped to Portland, then East bar gigs in dive towns, waiting tables in Boston. Changed my name to Ellis, buried Eleanor deep, Parker paced, fists clenched. And now? Why return? Dad said you begged for it for me. Eleanor's laugh was hollow. He lied. As always. I wrote you letters. Parker. Dozens. He burned them. I bet. I came back because I'm sick, cancer. Stage 4. Docs give me months. And I won't die in some fleabag hospice with your father's blood money echoes in my ears. I want truth. For you. Alex slipped an arm around Parker's waist. A silent vow. Truth like what? Spilling family dirt to the press. Eleanor's eyes flashed. If I have to. The Whitaker firm, Harlan's been cooking books for years. Laundering for those tech bros dodging taxes. I have proof. Emails. Ledgers. He faked my death to cover his tracks. 2. Insurance payout he funneled into slush funds. It's all rotting the core. Parker recoiled. The room spinning. You're blackmailing him? After everything? No. Darling. Freeing you. Eleanor's hand reached out. Trembling. I see it in you, the hiding. The fire. Who is she to you? A nod to Alex. Everything, Parker said. Voice breaking. And you? You left me to that. Tears carved tracks down Eleanor's cheeks. I thought you'd be safe. But I was wrong. Let me fix it before I go. The next days blurred into a fever dream of confrontation and confession. Parker drove Eleanor to a motel on Aurora Avenue. The kind with hourly rates and flickering vacancy signs. But she refused to leave her there alone. Instead, they talk endless, gut-wrenching marathons over takeout Thai and black coffee. Eleanor spilled it all. The love with Lila that bloomed in smoky galleries. The way Harlan's indifference turned to rage. The night they plotted the fake-out with a body double from the morgue contacts. It was supposed to be temporary, she admitted. Voice rasping from chemo scars. Till I could come back for you. But fear's a hell of a drug. Alex became the bridge. Her clinic shifts cut short to ferry Eleanor to appointments. Her steady presence a bomb. One evening, as rain lashed the windows, Alex found Parker in the kitchen, staring at a photo album unearthed from Eleanor's bag. Snapshots of a younger Parker, gap-toothed and grinning on Eleanor's lap. You're angry, Alex said, sliding behind her, chin on her shoulder. And that's okay. Parker turned, burying her face in Alex's neck. She left me a ghost story. Now she's rewriting the ending, with my family in the crosshairs. Alex's hands roamed, soothing. Your family's a cage, babe. She's handing you the key. Use it. Their lovemaking that night was desperate. A reclaiming Parker on top, mapping Alex's body with lips and teeth, drawing moans like confessions. You're mine, Parker growled, fingers curling deep, Alex arching like a bowstring. No ghosts between us. Alex came undone with a cry, pulling Parker down, their rhythm sinking in the dim light. Sweat slick and sacred. But Harlan struck first. A week in, his lawyer arrived with a cease and desist, fat envelope of NDAs and threats. Tell your corpse mother to crawl back, the suit sneered. Parker burned it in the sink, flames dancing like defiance. Then the call. Eleanor's proof leaked, anonymously. Of course, to the Seattle Times. Headline screamed, Whitaker Empire built on lies. Founder faked wife's death in fraud scheme. Harlan's firm hemorrhaged clients overnight. Stock plunging like a stone. He showed up at Parker's door at midnight. Disheveled. Eyes wild. You did this. You and that witch. Parker blocked the threshold. Alex at her back. She did. For me. For the truth you buried. Harlan lunged, grabbing her arm. You'll lose everything, the trust, the name. Let go. Eleanor's voice cut through, frail but fierce from the couch. She stood, flask in hand, a specter in flannel. Or I tell them about the lover you paid off, the one who OD'd after you silenced her. He recoiled, face ashen. Eleanor. Please. Out. Parker's command was iron. Harlan slunk away, tail between legs, the empire crumbling in his wake. In the quiet after, Eleanor collapsed, breath shallow. Parker knelt, taking her hand cold, bird-like. Why ruin it all? Because love isn't a legacy, Eleanor whispered. It's messy. Real. I lost mine once. Won't let you. The hospice was a sterile box in Bellevue. Monitors beeping like accusations. Parker and Alex took shifts. Eleanor's bed a battlefield of IVs and half-eaten Jell-O. One night, as stars pricked the sky, Eleanor beckoned Parker close. The letters, I kept copies. She pressed a thumb drive into her palm. For you. And her. A glance at Alex, dozing in the chair. She's good. Hold on. I will, Parker promised. Throat tight. Eleanor died at dawn, slipping away with a sigh, the monitors flatlining into silence. The funeral was small. Parker, Alex, a handful of Eleanor's old flames from the underground scene, toasting with whiskey under a weeping willow. Harlan didn't come. His firm was under investigation. The family name a punchline in society pages. Parker scattered the ashes on the lake. Alex's hand in hers, wind whipping their hair. She freed us, Alex said, voice thick. Yeah. Parker pulled her close, kissing salt from her lips. And we're just starting. Months later, the dust settled. Harlan indicted. The estate sold. Parker inheriting scraps enough for a fresh start. She and Alex bought a fixer-upper in Fremont. Trolls and tulips framing their porch. No ghosts. Just gardens and late-night laughs. Bodies entwined under quilts stitched from salvaged dreams. Love, turned out, wasn't ruin. It was resurrection. Parker woke to the scent of coffee and rain-soaked earth. Alex's side of the bed cool. The alarm clock blinking 6:47 a.m. in accusatory red. 3 months since Eleanor's ashes kissed the lake. And the nightmare still came. Flashes of hollow cheeks and trembling hands. Harlan's snarling face morphing into her own doubts. She rolled over, burying her face in the pillow that still faintly smelled of Alex's citrus shampoo, willing the ache to ebb. Downstairs, the kitchen hummed with morning ritual. Alex at the stove, flipping pancakes in a sports bra and boy shorts, her curves gilded by the dawn filtering through gingham curtains. The house was a chaotic embrace, exposed brick from the Reno, shelves sagging under Parker's vet manuals and Alex's dog-eared poetry, a rainbow flag thumbtacked above the fridge like a vow. Morning. Sunshine. Alex called, plating a stack dripping syrup. Rough night. Parker slid onto a stool, accepting the mug with a grunt. The usual. Mom's voice, echoing. Hold on. Then Dad's cuffs clicking in the courtroom feed. Alex rounded the island, perching on the stool beside her, thigh pressing warm against Parker's. You're allowed to grieve the mess. You know. Hero's journey or not. Parker sipped, the bitterness grounding. Grieve? Or celebrate? She torched it all poetic justice. Right? But sometimes I miss the lie. The family that never was. Alex's hand found her knee, thumb circling denim. That wasn't family. This is. She leaned in, lips brushing Parker's temple, a spark igniting low in her belly. But the moment shattered with the doorbell, a jaunty chime they'd installed themselves, now tolling like a dirge. On the stoop stood Lydia, Eleanor's replacement, looking like a Stepford refugee in pearls and a cashmere twinset, despite the drizzle. Parker. Dear. May I? Parker blocked the door, arms crossed. What do you want? Harlan's appeals aren't my circus. Lydia's smile was brittle, eyes darting past to the cozy chaos within. It's personal. About your mother. And you. Alex appeared at Parker's shoulder, spatula still in hand, a grease-streaked guardian. Kitchen's open if you're hungry, but tea's off the menu for snakes. Lydia flushed but stepped inside when Parker relented, perching on the edge of a wingback like it'd bite. I know what you think of me, gold digger. Enabler. But I loved him. In my way. And Eleanor. She was my friend. Once. Before. Parker snorted, pouring her a water she wouldn't drink. Before you married the widower and played house on her grave? Spill. Lydia's hands twisted, knuckles white. Harlan's rotting in minimum security, golf and grudges. But he left files. In the attic. Hidden behind the false panel. I found them last week. Packing to sell. Letters from Eleanor to you. The ones he burned. And more. Proof she didn't just run for love. There was a pregnancy. Not his. The room tilted. Parker's mug clattering to the counter. What? A half-sister. Lila's Eleanor's lover. Born before the crash. Hidden away. Harlan knew. Threatened to expose it all if she didn't vanish. She faked the death to protect the baby. 2. Gave her up for adoption. East Coast. Name's Riley Voss. 28 now. Lives in Brooklyn. Artist. Like her. Mother. Alex's gasp mirrored Parker's. The air electric with revelation. You telling us this why? Guilt trip. Lydia stood, smoothing her skirt. Redemption? Or spite? Harlan destroyed us all. This. It's the last thread. Find her. Parker. Before the name swallows you whole. She left a manila envelope on the table, birth certificate photocopy, faded ultrasound print, and vanished into the mist, heels clicking like retreating ghosts. Parker stared at the papers till her eyes burned, Alex's arms wrapping from behind. A sister? Holy! Another bomb. Parker flipped the certificate. Riley Marie Voss. Born March 1997. New York. Mom's secret on top of secrets. Alex turned her gently, hands framing her face. Or a door. We could go. Road trip me. You. Bad diners. Better sex. Parker's laugh bubbled. Ragged. You're insane. Insanely yours. Alex kissed her then. Slow and deep. Tongue-teasing promise. Parker's hands fisted in her bra, pulling her flush, the counter digging into her back. Heat built fast, Alex's thigh between hers, grinding with intent, breaths hitching. "Say yes," Alex murmured against her neck, nipping the pulse point. "Yes," Parker gasped, surrendering as Alex's fingers dipped lower, stroking through fabric, drawing a moan that echoed off the beams. They didn't make it to the bedroom. The rug burned her knees as Alex laid her down, peeling clothes with reverence, mouth mapping every scar and sigh. Parker's world narrowed to Alex's tongue, skilled, insistent, circling her core until stars burst behind her lids, release crashing like waves on Alki Beach. She returned the favor, burying between Alex's thighs, savoring her taste, tart and true, until Alex shattered, fingers tangled in Parker's hair. A litany of fuck. Yes, spilling free. Panting in the afterglow, envelopes forgotten on the counter, Parker traced Alex's jaw. Brooklyn. Let's do it. The drive east was a ribbon of asphalt and Americana, Interstate 90 slicing through Cascades, then flatlands blooming into Rust Belt ghosts. They traded shifts at the wheel of Parker's battered Tacoma, playlists shuffling from Alex's indie folk to Parker's grunge anthems, windows down to taste the wild air. Stops were impulsive, cherry pie in Montana diners where waitresses flirted shamelessly, stargazing pullouts in South Dakota where hands wandered under sleeping bags, quickies in truck stop bathrooms that left them laughing and lipstick smeared. By Chicago, doubt crept in. What if she hates me? Parker muttered over deep dish at Pequod's, cheese pulling like guilt. The Whitaker spawn, crashing her life. Alex licked sauce from her thumb, eyes twinkling. Or what if she's waiting? Blood calls. Babe. And if not, we got each other. Always. They crossed into New York at dusk, the skyline a jagged promise, Manhattan's pulse sinking with Parker's racing heart. Brooklyn was a warren of brownstones and bodegas, Riley's address a walk-up in Bushwick, graffiti splash stairs leading to a studio buzzing with turpentine and takeout. Parker knocked, envelope clutched like a shield, Alex's hand steady in hers. The door swung open to a woman who stole her breath. 28. Like a mirror cracked and reformed, Eleanor's cheekbones, Parker's green eyes, but wilder, with a buzz cut dyed electric blue, overalls streaked in ochre and cobalt, a septum-piercing glinting under loft lights. Can I help? Riley's voice was gravel and honey. Brooklyn born. Parker swallowed. I'm Parker. Eleanor Whitaker's daughter. Your half-sister. Riley's face shuddered, then cracked, wary melting to wonder. No shit. The ghost mom? Come in. The studio was chaos incarnate, canvases leaning like dominoes, a futon piled with sketch pads, the air thick with possibility. Riley poured cheap red into jelly jars, sizing them up. Lydia emailed, said you'd come. Figured it was bullshit. Mom Eleanor ditched me at birth. Adoption agency spun tales of tragedy. You. Parker spilled it. Words tumbling, the fake death, the return, the ruin. Alex chimed in, her warmth easing the edges, hand never leaving Parker's thigh. Riley listened, painting absently on a scrap, bold strokes of sisters entwined in thorns. Fuckers, Riley said finally, setting brush down. Harlan's trials all over the news. Good riddance. But you're real. That's something. They talked till midnight. Stories weaving like threads. Riley's foster hops. Art school hustles. Parker's vet clinic saves. Alex's are heroics. Laughter came hesitant. Then free shared scars forging bonds. When Riley hugged her goodbye, it lingered. Fierce. Stay. Crash here. Brooklyn's got room for strays. They did. For a week, a blur of gallery crawls and Gowanus grit. Riley's crew of queer artists folding them in like family. One night, rooftop under strung lights, Riley pulled Parker aside. She loved you. You know. Left me a locket once. Anonymous inside. Your photo. Kept me going. Parker teared up, clutching the drive from Eleanor. She left this. Letters. For both of us. Riley's grin was wicked. Read 'em over dim sum tomorrow. Then burn the bad ones. Back in the apartment, Alex waited, candlelit and bare under a silk robe. Good day. The best. Parker stripped, joining her on the futon, bodies aligning like puzzle pieces. Their lovemaking was languid, exploratory, Alex's nails raking her back, Parker's mouth worshipping the swell of her breasts, hips rolling in syncopated rhythm. Whispers of mine and forever punctuated gasps. Climax building to a shared crest, trembling and tender. As they drifted, Alex murmured, "Family's not blood." "It's this." "Yeah," Parker agreed. Heartful. The ruins had birthed something unbreakable. But peace fractured on the flight home, Parker's phone buzzing mid-turbulence. Unknown number. Voicemail. Harlan's voice. Slurred from prison rot. "You think it's over? I know about the sister." The locket. Eleanor's whore hid more forgeries. "I'll bury you both from in here." Rage boiled. But Alex's hand grounded her. Let him try. We're bulletproof. Seattle welcomed them with fog and familiarity. The house blooming with autumn asters Parker had planted in Eleanor's memory. Riley visited for Thanksgiving. Blue hair clashing with the harvest table. Her laughter filling voids. The sisters bonded over whiskey and Alex mediating with her unflappable grace. Winter brought the subpoena, Harlan's last gasp. Dragging Riley into depositions. Accusing Eleanor of fraud to lighten his sentence. Parker flew east again. This time with lawyers from the firm's remnants. Pro bono for the prodigal daughters. Courtroom was a circus. Harlan shackled. Sneering from the dock. But Riley's testimony, calm, cutting, unraveled him. "You buried my mother alive. Now choke on the dirt." The judge dismissed the claims. Harlan's appeals crumbling like his empire. Outside, snow dusting the steps. Parker hugged Riley tight. "We did it. We survived," Riley corrected. Eyes shining. Like her, Christmas was theirs. A quiet affair in Fremont. Tree strung with Riley's donated ornaments. Abstract hearts in wire and wax. Alex proposed under the mistletoe. Ring simple platinum with an emerald chip. Dropping to one knee with a grin. "Marry me. Whitaker. Make the ruins official." Parker pulled her up. Kissing fierce. "Hell yes. Voss Whitaker whatever." Forever. The wedding was spring fever. Backyard affair with tulips rioting. Riley officiating in a thrift store suit. Alex's family from Texas toasting with barbecue and tears. Vows were raw. Parker's promise to love through ghosts. Alex's to dance in the wreckage. Rings exchanged. They danced under lanterns. Bodies swaying close. The night alive with possibility. Riley caught the bouquet. Winking. Your turn next, sis. As guests dispersed, Parker and Alex slipped away to the loft, shedding dresses in moonlight. Their honeymoon was the bed's slow, sensual worship, fingers and tongues tracing commitments, orgasms rippling like aftershocks. Wife, Alex breathed, Parker echoing it like grace. Years folded forward. The clinic expanded. Parker strays finding homes. Alex's book on queer resilience hit shelves. Riley's gallery show sold out. Half to Seattle collectors seeking redemption arcs. Harlan died in custody. Obituary a footnote. No tears. On their 5th anniversary, they scattered wildflower seeds on the lake, Eleanor's echo in bloom. Hand in hand, Parker whispered, she returned to ruin. But built us instead, Alex squeezed. Damn right. And in the quiet, love stood unruined, fierce, flawed, forever American. The letter arrived unannounced, tucked into the mailbox like contraband, postmarked from a federal pin in Oregon. Parker fished it out after a dawn run, sweat cooling on her skin, the envelope's weight heavier than its bulk suggested. Alex was still asleep upstairs, their queen bed a tangle of limbs and last night's dreams. But this demanded solitude. She slid it open on the porch swing, the creak of chains her only witness. Harlan's scrawl, weaker now, looped across the page. Daughter, before they bury me for good. Know this. Eleanor didn't just run. She stole. The family ledgers, millions siphoned to her lover's accounts. Before Lila OD'd. Check the Cayman shell. Number 47-2. It's yours by blood. But it'll destroy you. Or save you. Choose. No signature. Just a smudged postscript. Forgive the unforgivable. Parker's stomach nodded. The swing sway turning queasy. 5 years since the wedding. 3 since Harlan's appeals tanked. And she'd thought the ghosts exorcised. Therapy sessions with Alex's steady hand in hers. Riley's bicoastal calls a lifeline. But here it was. Clawing back. Legacy as curse. She burned it in the fire pit that afternoon. Alex watching from the Adirondack. Wineglass dangling. 35 now. With laugh lines etching her eyes like victory scars. Alex had traded ER shifts for a practice specializing in queer youth. Kids like Parker once was. Hiding in plain sight. Old man stirring shit from the grave? She asked. Voice even. Worse. Buried treasure. Or bomb. Parker poked the ashes. Sparks rising like accusations. Mom's ghost money. He wants me to chase it. Alex set her glass down. Crossing to pull her up. Bodies fitting like worn denim. Then chase. With me. But if it's poison, we walk. Parker kissed her. Tasting Merlot and resolve. Hands sliding under Alex's tank to palm the familiar weight of her breasts. The kiss deepened. Porch rail digging in. Alex's leg hooking hers for leverage. Heat flared quick. Parker's fingers dipping into shorts. Finding Alex slick and wanting. Stroking in tandem with their tongues. Alex broke first. Gasping against her neck. Inside. Now. They stumbled to the bedroom. Clothes shedding like skins. Falling to the mattress in a heap of need. Parker took her time. Lips trailing fire down Alex's torso. Tongue circling navel then lower. Delving into her folds with deliberate flicks. Alex writhed. Hands fisting sheets. Her climax a shuddering wave that pulled Parker up for a shared afterglow kiss. Whatever it is, Alex panted. We face it naked. Riley arrived 2 days later. Flight from JFK delayed by nor'easter. Blue hair now a rebellious streak in a bob. Her latest exhibit, Spectral Sisters, fresh off a MoMA nod. She crashed on the couch with a duffel of takeout and attitude. Scanning the postscript facsimile Parker slid across the coffee table. Caymans? Daddy Dearest playing pirate? Classic Whitaker. Die scheming. Parker paced the living room. Fir needles crunching underfoot from the tree they'd yet to undecorate. It's Mom's, he says. Stolen for Lila. What if it's real? We could fund the youth center. Expand Alex's practice. Or it's a trap. Riley's eyes, so like Eleanor's, sharpened. Harlan hated loose ends. This screams drag you down with me. Alex emerged from the kitchen. Tray of IPAs balanced. Forensic accountant first. No diving blind. They hired Elena, a no-nonsense Latina from Alex's network, 50s, tattoos peeking from cuffs. A ledger whisperer who'd unraveled Ponzi schemes for the feds. Her office in Pioneer Square smelled of ink and espresso. Walls papered in flowcharts like spiderwebs. 2 weeks later, she called them in. Face grim under fluorescent buzz. It's there, Elena said, flipping her laptop to reveal offshore trails. Shells nested like Russian dolls. Tracing to a 1996 wire from Eleanor's personal fund. 2 mil. Laundered clean. Lila's name on the beneficiary. But post-OD. It sat dormant. Harlan must have known. Used the fake death to freeze it without questions. Parker's throat tightened. Numbers blurring. Mom's escape fund. For what? Freedom, Alex murmured. Hand on her thigh under the table. Riley nodded. Jaw set. But accessing? IRS flags. Provenance questions. Harlan's letter's your hook blood claim, but it'll drag Eleanor's name through mud again. Press. Probate. Do it, Parker cut in. Voice steal. For the kids. The center. Let the mud fly. The fallout was swift. Filings public. Headlines recycling old scandals. Whitaker heiress unearths mother's hidden fortune. Harlan's obit got a sequel bump. Prison pals leaking vindication quotes. Riley fielded calls from art rags. Her buzz amplified. Alex's waiting room overflowed with wary teens. Stories spilling like confessions. Nights turned restless. Parker jolting awake to phantom knocks. Alex soothing with touches that turned therapeutic to torrid. One storm-lashed evening. As thunder rolled off the sound, they made love by candlelight, Alex on her back. Parker between her thighs. Fingers and mouth working in harmony. Drawing out pleas that drowned the rain. You're my anchor, Alex gasped. Coming hard. Pulling Parker atop for a grinding release that left them boneless. Whispers weaving vows anew. The hearing was in federal court. Downtown monolith of glass and judgment. Parker testified first. Voice steady recounting Eleanor's return. The letter's truths. Riley followed. Her artist fire painting Lila as muse. Not thief love's desperate hoard. Elena dismantled the ledgers. Threads untangling to reveal Harlan's embezzlement dwarfing Eleanor's theft. The judge, a silver-haired woman with a rainbow pin on her robe, ruled in their favor. Funds unfrozen with stipulations. Restitution to victims. The bulk to a trust for LGBTQ+ causes. Justice delayed, she intoned. But not denied. Outside. Paparazzi flashes popped like gunfire. But Parker shielded Riley. Alex's arm a bulwark. We won, she breathed. The city humming indifferent. Riley hugged her fierce. Mom's laughing somewhere. Wild One. The center broke ground that summer. A safe haven in Capitol Hill. Murals by Riley's crew. Clinic wing named for Lila. Parker cut the ribbon. Alex beside her. Now 40 with a streak of gray she'd refused to dye. Earned stripes. Their rings glinted in the sun. 7 years married. Love weathered but unbowed. Fall brought Riley's wedding. A loft affair in Bushwick. Her bride a poet with ink-stained fingers and a laugh like bells. Parker walked her down the aisle. Alex's hand in hers. Tears blurring the vows. In ruins. We rise. Later. On the fire escape. City lights sprawling. Riley clinked glasses. To Eleanor, the ruiner who rebuilt. To family, Parker echoed. Alex's head on her shoulder. Back west. Autumn deepened. Leaves carpeting the garden. One evening. Parker found an old journal in the attic, Eleanor's. Salvaged from the estate sale. Pages yellowed. Script looping. Entries of doubt and devotion. A passage for Parker. My girl. Fierce as ferns after fire. Love without apology. Find your wild. She read it aloud to Alex by the hearth. Voice cracking. She knew. Alex pulled her close. Lips soft on her temple. And she gave it to you. Their night unfolded slow. A ritual of rediscovery. Baths drawn with rose oil. Bodies oiled and eager. Parker tracing constellations on Alex's skin with tongue and touch. In the dim. They moved as one. Alex riding her with abandon. Parker's hands guiding hips. Breath sinking to crescendo. Release was mutual. A flood of light. Collapsing into laughter and limbs. Dawn found them tangled. Coffee brewing. What's next? Alex asked. Tracing Parker's tattoo. More, Parker said. Simple. Us. The center. Riley's kid on the way, our niece. Alex grinned. Auntie Judy's. Wild. Years layered on, the center thrived. Scholarships in Lila's name. Riley's twins toddled via video. Blue-haired chaos. Parker hit 42. Silver threading her crop. Still hiking with Alex. Their steps synced on trails slick with mist. Harlan's shadow faded. A footnote in memoirs Parker never wrote. Eleanor's fortune seeded empires of empathy, youth thriving. Stories untold now voiced. On their 20th anniversary, they returned to the lake. Boat rocking gentle. Parker scattered petals, wildflowers long bloomed. She ruined to redeem. Alex kissed her. Wind whipped. And we love in the light. In the end, the American dream wasn't mansions or names, but this two women. Scarred and soaring. Building from ashes. Human. Heartbreaking. Whole.